Now, when we use or hear the phrase defying all odds, do we truly know what it means? Well, for 31-year-old Mathew Nyamlori, it's a living testament to that phrase. We chanced upon Mathew Nyamlori on Thursday as we set about showing the impact of the ongoing lecturers' strike. He is what you call a story in a story, and quite a story at that. Well, Mathew sat the Kenya Certificate of Primary Education exam not once, not twice, but 9 times. Your first question might be why? Well, before we get an answer to that question, let's take a walk down memory lane and look at Mathew's experience taking the KCPE exams. His first attempt was in 1998 while attending a primary school in Bomet. He scored 472 of 700 and was to join a high school. But lack of school fees became a barrier. His second attempt was at Rongo Primary School in 1999. He scored 559 and was admitted at Kanga High School. Again, lack of school fees saw him drop out in 2001. But in 2002, he was encouraged to go back to Class 8, after which he made his third attempt at Kitere Primary School and scored 387. The system had changed by then to 5 examinable subjects. Well, he was to join Rapogi High School in Migori, but the persistent fees issue once again stood in his way. His fourth time was in 2003 when he scored 399, and fifth time in 2004 scoring 434. He joined Maseno School in 2005 but had to drop out in Form 2 in 2006 when school fees balance proved to be too burdensome. Now, the following year in 2007, Mathew looked for scholarships but in vain. Now, in his sixth attempt in 2008 at Agoro Sare Primary School, it saw him score 397 that earned him admission to Maranda High School. Lack of school fees, again, the barrier to his educational advancement. Now, Mathew was determined, however, and made a 7th attempt in 2009, sitting his KCPE exam at Aldo Rebi Academy in Narok and scored 401. He was admitted to Kapsabet High, but fees again an issue. His 8th attempt was 8 years ago in 2010 at Agape Junior Academy, where he scored 403 and was admitted again to Maranda High School in Bondo. He could not afford, or rather to attend, due to finances that were not available. In 2011, the 9th boy born in his family made his 9th attempt at Oriri Primary School and scored 403. This was his breakthrough after he was admitted to Nairobi School. Fortunately, the Equity Bank Wing Fly Scholarship Program stepped in and paid for Mathew's high school education. He sat for his KCSE in 2015 and scored a B+. He is now a second-year student at Kenyatta University pursuing a degree in public policy and administration, and joins me now in studio. Mathew, thank you so much for coming in. Let me tell you, I'm listening to your story, going through, researching, and what you've been through would break the spirit of so many people. What kept you going to keep taking the test 9 times?
What kept me going was the environment. When I look at those who have gone to school and compare to the casual laborers, it encouraged me, and I could see somebody who is doing a good job, a graduate, when you compare him with a casual laborer, a Mujengo, because most of the time I was doing Mujengo for my survival. That person was a bit higher, and it could make the things life easy compared to the other guy who dropped out of school. Also to that, being that I was born in a poor background, also encouraged me, because the elder brothers and sisters never stepped in high school. The only brother, the one I'm following, is currently a teacher at Georgia Senior School Preparatory, but he got assisted with the Stare Boy Center. He went to Stare Boy Center. After that, he joined University of Nairobi, but he's teaching there.
So only 2 of you out of your family
no, my fellow also went through a day school under the scholarship of the local church.
Yeah.
He's a police officer in Mwingi currently. He was taken there in the year 2014.
So did you ever feel like giving up? I can imagine now you're 31, your friends, people you grew up with, you know, probably married, children, they have jobs. Did you ever feel like giving up?
I'm 31 because I was reducing the age due to the knee, but I think I am around 35. But I couldn't give them the listening because what pushed me was my life. I was seeing the standard of my life. Because when somebody would visit me, is saying, I'm going to visit Mathew Nyamlori, not any other person. So I couldn't see that my peers have married and I'm not married. So what encouraged me is what kept me moving was my life. I was seeing that in future, what would I have done in life? And will I give back to the other communities who are suffering? Because most of the time we were doing casual work in Kipsigis. I can speak two dialects, fluent Kipsigis and the Luo, because we stayed there for a long time.
And I really wonder, because I mean, that took an amazing amount of focus for you to ignore other factors and circumstances of people who you literally grew up with. But when it comes to your living conditions during those 9 years, I'm just really curious to know, how did you survive? Because you mentioned you did a lot of casual labor jobs.
First of all, I never wanted to stress my dad and mom, so I moved away from them. So whenever I was repeating, I could decide and go and repeat. So when I was at Rongo, it is good. Rongo is a good place. There are sugarcane. So you see, at lunchtime, we could go to sugarcane plantation, so that one, I could have that for lunch. Over the weekend, I do mujenga, I get 300. I used to buy the donuts. We call it donuts or kangumu. So I could use it from Monday to Friday in the evening. But lunchtime, we could go to sugarcane plantation and take some sugarcane. This one was enough sucrose to keep us moving, to keep me personally moving.
My goodness, I'm just thinking, sugarcane for lunch. You know, most people would have given up at a point, thinking it's not worth it. You know, and I'm just wondering, in terms of support from family, you had to also move around. You took your KCPE exams in different counties.
Yes.
Why was this? Why did you move around so much?
Because, you know, humiliation from your peers. You were the best. You have performed well. When you go back to the same primary, psychologically you won't be stable. When you go to a new environment, they will see you. I remember towards 2011, 2010 now, we could move for round testing. So I used to wear a long trouser on top of a short whenever we are moving out of the compound of the school. After reaching the nearest bush, I remove a trouser, I go and write my test. I used to excel, I used to be the best in those times. Then because I was just avoiding humiliation from the people who don't understand that education is the key to success.
I mean, you're really showing the importance of pursuing education. Now you're a second-year student in Kenyatta University.
Yes.
So the story has turned to something more positive. I'm sure your parents are very proud. We saw them in the story previously. But why did you decide to keep with the concentration you're on now, the degree that you're following?
My degree is also related to the community development, or also the administration, managing something. So I wanted to pursue a case whereby I will get in touch with the community. I can be an administrator, taking care of other orphans, taking care of other needy, because not all orphans are needy. We have those who are needy and have the parents. So I decided to pursue the course because it is a course which also teaches the social science, the development of social science. So you get to know how to manage different people in society.
And lastly, as we wrap up, what are your future plans, and what would you say to a child watching now? They're out of school because they can't afford the fees. What would you tell them?
What I could tell them that God, the end will justify the means. God is the final judgment. Your situation should not deter you from pursuing your dream. The situation you are going through. I remember one time I used to stay in a bathroom. somebody's bathroom because I could not pay rent. So in the evening, I go and sleep in a bathroom outside. Then in the morning, I just go to a sugarcane plantation. I rush to school and write my exams. And I used just to play with the pupils as normal. I know some could even wonder, as old as you are almost the age mate of my dad. You are still in school, but it could not deter me from pursuing my dream. I would also say that now, at least now, we have so many scholarships. I could also congratulate Dr. James Mwangi, the CEO Equity, and Mr. Tom Kuyo, who came for me, who took me to one of the Wings to Fly scholars, and they sponsored me in Nairobi School. And now that I can speak to the world that life is what you make it. Don't despair.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Matthew. Wise words, and you are such an inspiration to so many that if you keep fighting, you will indeed make it. And what strikes me about you is you still have a heart to help people despite what you went through in your life. So thank you so much.
I still have a heart to help people because I was also elected last year. I'm the congressperson, Kilimambogo Hostel. I'm one of the COSA Congress, 14th Congress. So you see, you can get a comrade calling off because of lack of 2,000.
So will we see politics in your future?
Definitely, if God allows, I'll also be in the politics. If it is fair, not the bloody politics.
Right,
I need a fair politics where you play your games and your cards well, where you assist the real people who are suffering in the community.
Great, thank you so much. We'll see whether that name turns into Honorable Senator or Governor Nyamlori. Thank you so much for your time,
Matthew. Governor, so probably I might be the next governor now.
There you go, speaking into your future. Thank you so much. On that note,